Good morning, everybody. This is day 5 in Ireland, Sunday. I slept in and had a full Irish breakfast downstairs at the restaurant in our hotel while Michael got his workout on in the gym.
Good morning, day 5 in Ireland.
Sunday.
We are up and at it. We are leaving Galway. We did drive outside of the city to stay last night.
Gort. We're in Gort.
We're in Gort
Somewhere called
County,
Gort.
Galway. Yeah, it's what it's officially.
Town of Gort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're headed out to the highway in just a second. We have about, a 30-mile drive to the cliffs of Moher. And we bought the experience this morning. I think it was €15 a piece for Sunday. For the afternoon, it's actually more expensive to book the afternoon than it is the morning. And just a little heads up, they did say on the website they would charge you if you were outside of your time window. So if mornings accidentally showed up into mid-morning, early afternoon. So we're headed there. Super excited. Today is going to be a total history of my family, at least on this side, County Clare. And we will end up this evening down around Limerick, still in County Clare, but at my family's stronghold castle that we held for over 400 years. So we didn't sell it. It stayed in the family until the mid-60s, but 1960s. But we held it and held that part of Ireland for that many years. So I'm super, super excited. Probably be emotional today. I've not been emotional at all here. I've absolutely loved every minute. But today is going to be so many bucket lists that we get to check off. So I'm super excited.
And we lucked up. The weather today, it's a little bit warmer, sunny. It's not windy. There's just a little bit of cloud cover, but the sun is coming through and it feels much nicer than it did yesterday. It was drizzly cold, very yucky all day yesterday, so I'm excited about this weather.
Speaking of that, getting the temperature kind of adjusted in the car for you. It was cold last night driving into town. So
I'd have the heat on the whole way.
We've got road trip snacks. We've got water, and I've got protein bars, and I've got a protein shake, and Jules has an extra strong coffee that she can't get out of the cup holder now because
I put it down
sunk.
the cup holder, and it went so far down, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that
So
out.
I'll have to work on that. But yeah, come along with us. We're going to go.
Off we go. I decided to try out the time-lapse feature on my GoPro for our drive from Gort to the cliffs of Moher. As you can see, these roads are really, really narrow, and I had to cut out a lot of screaming and crying because I was pretty hysterical. But Michael did a great job of driving. He was definitely under the speed limit the whole way, and my bigger fear was the other passengers on the road coming around these curves, taking up, the lane. But here's how fast we were actually going, pretty slow overall. Bicycles everywhere. There was no lines most of the way to divide the road in half. We passed a lot of farm equipment. It was kind of hairy, but he did a really good job. He stayed on the right side of the road, and I definitely don't want to make it sound like I don't trust his driving, because I couldn't have driven anywhere near as well as he did. But these roads were a little bit scary, that's for sure. And this guy, he just pulled over. He was oncoming, and just was talking to everybody, and you'll see that traffic starts to pile up behind us. He just wanted to say, hey, and I hope you're enjoying your trip to Ireland. Farm equipment, as you can see, they take up nearly the whole road. It was definitely an adventure getting from Gort to Galway, but it's an experience I'll never forget, and hopefully we'll be able to take major highways from now on. We really did luck up with the weather on this particular day. We had heard that a lot of times when visitors go to the cliffs of Moher, it's too rainy and overcast or foggy to really see very well. But this day it was in the high 50s, but the sun was shining so bright and everything was so clear that we had no trouble seeing anything. These cliffs are over 700 feet high in some places, and there's actually a trail that follows along the top of this ridge that goes, I believe, about 11 miles total. We didn't hike anywhere near 11 miles because of time, but we did enjoy the hike that we took, which was almost all the way to Hag's Head and then to O'Brien's Tower. I could not get enough of admiring how far you could see on this crystal clear day. This is actually turning around away from the cliffs, looking back towards the mainland, but I just thought we could not have been more lucky and had nicer weather. This is a monument dedicated to the people who visit the cliffs of Moher and die during their experience. On average, that's about 10 people a year. In English, this triangular stack is known as the Big Prince or the Big Raven. I think it's about 180 feet high actually, and it's been climbed only one time. That was in May of 1990 by 3 people who did it in a total of 3 pitches. What you can see here are the Aran Islands. There's 3 large islands and a few little islets. There's no way to get there except by plane or boat, and we really wanted to be able to go see them, but we just did not have time. I did not expect to be so fascinated by the geology and how the cliffs of Moher were actually created in the first place. So I'm going to be diving into that and probably doing a whole separate video on it because I'm really interested in how in the world some awesome thing like this was made.
Thoughts?
I wish I could record the sound of all of these birds.
I know.
Such an amazing sound, but I really don't think it's going to pick up on either one of these devices very well. But it just sounds like thousands of cackling laughs.
I know.
It's very cool sound. Ooh, look at this pretty dandelion.
Right down in this little hole here.
It turns out the Cliffs of Moher is home to one of the largest colonies of cliff nesting birds in Ireland, and there's actually over 35 species of birds that nest here. The best time to view these nesting birds is from April to July, so we looked up again there too that we were visiting in mid-April and got an awesome view of all these birds. This is Michael trying to point out to me some safe places I could sit to get some cool photos, but I was having absolutely none of that.
Yeah, the stone barrier, I think, is more of a suggestion than a have to. There were a lot of side trails, but it's weird. This is a place that I think you feel so much serenity that I never felt like I was in danger. We didn't get exactly to the edge. We mostly stayed on the gravel trail, and you can see there's a fence line on the other side.
All of this to show the Cliffs of Moher is not a very accessible hike if you struggle with stairs and uneven ground. There's quite a lot of it, and it's a shame that people can't make it all the way down to Hag's Head if they can't traverse this. But the hike was beautiful, and I hope my footage was enjoyable if there's anyone who wants to see it and can't make the hike. There are a lot of stairs to get to the top of the hill where O'Brien's Tower sits, but you can actually get a golf cart ride to the top if you can't make the climb.
All the stairs are because O'Brien's Tower is the tallest point of the cliffs. Hag's Head was the lowest. Julie showed you that earlier. This one is the only accessible part for wheelchairs and for any assistance on the entire cliffs.
This is O'Brien's Tower. It was actually built in 1835 by Cornelius O'Brien, who was a descendant of Brian Boru, the first High King of Ireland. There are several theories on why he built it, perhaps to entertain locals or visitors, or maybe impress the women he was dating. But most people think he built it because he saw tourism in Ireland's future as a way to help boost their economy.
So this was the first building from my family that I really wanted to see. This one's in all the picture books. But family lore was that there was an original structure here. It was built to the same height as the tower, and it was an O'Brien lookout tower when they ruled this part of Ireland, which was the County Clare.
The only way to the top is to climb the stairs, and there's quite a few of them, but they're in good shape and the handrail feels nice and steady. But there is no other way to get to the top. It was actually pretty crowded when we got up there, so I didn't take too many videos, but the views are absolutely incredible.
So you can definitely see, getting to the top of the tower, astounding views. We couldn't put words to it. It's not going to do it justice on camera here. But it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We loved it, and I can totally see from a strategic point of view how the family would have certainly used this to look for any enemies at sea. on the ground floor, we had some stuff from the family over the years, the main thing being the original coat of arms. Inside the red shield are 3 lions representing 3 strategic battles won by the family. This is our family motto. This is a cloud with a hand coming up out of above holding a sword, representing the hand from above, literally God, helping the family. And look here, beautiful girl, beautiful day, beautiful scenery. I have no words, guys. This was just so humbling for me to see this and to be here, with the family heritage. I walked away very overwhelmed and very happy.
There is a museum at the Visitor Center that Michael and I kind of blitzed through. There's a lot of really neat information and history in this museum, but we were really pushed for time and unfortunately did not have a chance to stay and read everything, but we did look into some O'Brien family history. I didn't find much information about this online, but I'm pretty sure it's carved out of wood. It's just a monument they have at the Visitor Center done by Shane Gilmore. Our drive from the cliffs of Moher to our next stop, which was Bunratty Castle, was a lot less frightening than our drive earlier this morning. The roads were a lot wider, there was much more room for traffic to pass, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day, so we really enjoyed this drive. We didn't see the signs for parking at Bunratty Castle and actually parked along this river across the street. And here it is. This is Bunratty Castle. It's from the 15th century. A Norse settlement has probably been on this site since the 900s, but Brian Boru came through and conquered this land and put something here, so this castle is probably around 800 years old itself.
This castle was named after the river basin that it sits beside. This is not the original structure. This structure was built around 1425. During the 16th and 17th centuries, it was a very important defensive stronghold for the O'Brien family, who were kings and then later earls of Clare County.
We got to Bunratty Castle about 5 minutes to 4 p.m., not realizing that at 4 p.m. they shut off all tours for the day. So we were kind of in a rush to actually get to the castle, and then when we did get to it, they had closed the bottom 2 floors, which was the basement and the kitchen, because they have a medieval dinner show there in the evening. So unfortunately, we weren't able to see 2 floors of the castle, but what we did see absolutely was amazing. We had looked up this castle on YouTube before we ever left to go to Ireland and actually didn't find very many videos of the castle at all, and certainly very few of the inside of the castle, so we were completely unprepared for how stunning it is and the fact that it's pretty much completely furnished with period furniture and decoration. Guided tours are not actually offered at this castle, which is a real shame. I would have absolutely loved to have been able to take a guided tour and have everything explained to me, what all these different rooms were originally for and how they changed over the years, and all of this incredible art, tapestry, furniture. I probably could have been here all day long if someone would walk me through and explain all this to me, because I was absolutely overwhelmed at how incredible this castle is.
So we're back in the Great Hall. This is the original banquet hall, built in 1425. This was an audience chamber for the earls at the time, the O'Briens. The earl gave judgments while sitting in the chairs that you see up front. The walls are hung with French, Belgian, and Flemish tapestries. The oak dower cupboard is dated from 1570, and the 16th century coat of arms was of the O'Briens, the reigning family at the time. So this room is called North Solar. This is the private apartment of the Earl and his family. The oak paneling dates to 1500. And the table is said to have been salvaged from the wreck of a Spanish Armada ship. Note the, I'm going to butcher this, German, it's German, Leuchterweichen here. And in some other rooms, it is the lamp that you see, or the chandelier on the wall. It's flamboyant female figures, often used as chandeliers, and are of German origin. There's also a private chapel that adjoins this apartment.
This is the Earl's bedroom. The room is draped with damask, and there's a magnificent carved bed right in the middle. One of his ladies' dresses is on the bed, and it's got elaborate beadwork. The 15th century cupboard with writing flap is an extremely rare example. This is a public chapel right off of the Great Hall, and it has really pretty 15th and 16th century pieces. This is the Earl's kitchen. This is where food was cooked for guests that were dining in the Great Hall. And if you notice these turtle shells over the hearth, they were actually used as dishes and covers for food. This room even has its own garbage chute. This is the South Solar. This is actually apartments for guests, and the ceiling is partially a replica of a Tudor style. These furnishings include a rare virginal dating from 1661.
My young love said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't spite you for your lack of kind. And she stepped away from me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. She stepped away from me, and she moved through the fair, and fondly I watched her go here and go there, and she went her way homeward with one star away, as the swan in the evening moved over the lake. The
This right here is what I think of Ireland. Like green, flowers, stones.
Has a sorrow that never was there.
Also on the grounds of Bunratty Castle is the Folk Park. Bunratty Folk Park is a living reconstruction of the homes and the environment of how Ireland looked over a century ago. They have rural farmhouses, a village street that has shops, and what's called Bunratty House that has a Regency garden, and it's recreated and furnished as it would have appeared at that time.
We went into the gift shop at the Folk Park to see if we could find some souvenirs. I found the claddagh ring I'd been looking for all over Ireland, exactly what I wanted. Got some postcards for our friends and family, and then Michael and I each got these matching coffee mugs because he's new to being a coffee drinker, just like me.
I dreamt it last night that my young love came in.
So pulling up to the family castle, this is the grounds of Dromoland, the O'Brien Castle that was held until 1965. And we had a guard greet us very nicely, but this is a 5-star Michelin-rated hotel now. And so we were kindly turned away. He let us come down and get into a wide spot in the road and turn back. We actually have to pick a day and schedule a tour if we wanted to see the castle itself. So instead of paying $700 a night to stay there, we actually still stayed on Dromoland property, but we stayed at the inn on the other side.
Huge closet. That's the biggest closet I've ever seen in a hotel. Yeah.
So to end the evening, Julie and I had dinner at the gastropub located in the hotel. Started with chicken wings again. For our mains this time, I went off carnivore, had to do the traditional fish and chips. Interesting that Ireland gives you peas with that as a side. Julie did stay on. She had a 16-ounce T-bone, cooked rare.